Hey guys, DMV SoloRider back with another video. We're going to do a bit of talking today. I guess we might as well call these DMV SoloRider talkies. So I decided to come out for a ride. I'm still working on my mic in this helmet. Not happy with how it sounded on the anniversary video. And I'm working on my video quality because I am just fed up with taking great rides and having great video on my computer, but once YouTube gets finished with it, it looks terrible. You know, I find if I hit the road with nothing on the sides, no trees or anything, it looks great. But when I hit twisties on a tree-lined road, it's just muddy and blocky. It looks terrible. You know, I've been doing a lot of research into different GoPro settings that I can try to at least try and keep some of that at bay. And it turns out to some extent it's kind of out of my control because YouTube decides how much to compress your video. Now, if I had a big channel with lots of subscribers, lots of views every video, apparently YouTube has a special compression algorithm for those channels. And that doesn't get triggered when I upload. And apparently, if you start shooting in 4K and upload that, YouTube will kind of put you in that special algorithm. And I definitely want to upgrade to 4K. It's just not something on the immediate horizon. So I'm out kind of experimenting, seeing what I can do, and I decided I wanted to film an update on Ride Command and CarPlay. It's been a few months since I put that video up, and I feel like because I just completely took the hatchet to Indian for my Ride Command and CarPlay experience that I owe you guys more steady updates on my experience, good, bad, and different. I'm not a journalist, I'm not a motorcycle professional, I'm just a dude with an opinion. But when you crush a company for how their product is performing, I still feel kind of an obligation to stay up to date on that issue. And, you know, as I've mentioned in past videos, my channel's a couple months, 6 weeks to 8 weeks behind real life. And there are rides coming up where I'll kind of give you updates as we go on how things are working and my chats with Indian. But, I mean, they're not even up on the channel yet by the time I film this and get it up. And I decided that I'm just going to film like a cumulative update because I don't think it's fair to just let months go by before I start getting back to the subject. Anyways, long story short, as you'll recall, putting my phone in the Challenger's glove box broke the camera 3 times from like vibration. This was an iPhone XS Max. So I bought a wireless dongle so that I could keep my phone in my pocket and wirelessly connect my phone to the Challenger and use Apple's CarPlay. And it worked great for a couple thousand miles. And then all of a sudden, every time I'd ride, the connection to the Challenger would be interrupted. Made CarPlay virtually unusable. And this is the same kind of experience I had on my Chieftain, where you would plug your phone into the dash where the USB port was located, and your phone would disconnect all the time. It seemed like any kind of bump you hit, some random times when you couldn't tell what was going on, and it was really frustrating. And when I switched from the Chieftain to the Challenger, didn't have that for like the first 6 months, and I was happy. And then the disconnect started after a couple thousand miles, and I was pretty unhappy, and that's when I filmed the rant crushing Indian for my experience. And I spoke with Indian a number of times. Towards the end of April, right after I put that video up actually, they came out with the software update. I did the software update. They also went out of their way to contact me of their own initiative to say, hey, we wanted to let you know we just put out a software update. We think it might solve your issue. Since the software update, I admittedly have not had a chance to ride nearly as much as usual. So in 500-700 miles, something like that, I haven't had any trouble plugging the phone directly into the bike. And the wireless dongle has given me lots of disconnections. Although today I've ridden already about 130 miles and I haven't had a single disconnection. It's been perfectly stable, it's been great. And then I heard from a viewer who had rented a Challenger for a weekend, and it broke his 12 Pro Max the same way it broke my old phone. which is like the last thing I wanted to hear. Until that point, I hadn't heard from anyone saying that their phone broke by putting it in the Challenger's glove box, and then I had. So I'm kind of at a loss as to what the heck's going on. I think it could be a variety of things. It could be Ride Command software, it could be the dongle, could be both of those things together. And of course, the overriding issue for me is I don't want my camera to break, and I feel like if I regularly put my phone in the bike, that's just what's going to happen, and I don't want to deal with that. So I'm using the dongle, and if it starts disconnecting, then I'll put the phone in the bike and, you know, keep my fingers crossed. I really can't tell you why I was having all these disconnection issues pre-software update. It's entirely possible that Apple did something in iOS that negatively impacted Indian's interface with CarPlay, and then Indian had to then go back into their software, make a tweak so that it worked well. Maybe not. I don't know. I just know since the software update, when I plug the phone directly into the bike, it works well. And so part of me is like, I need to do a mea culpa. I need to apologize to Indian and say, hey, you fixed it, well done. The problem is, I've heard from a lot of Indian owners who have lots of issues with Ride Command, and there are just lots of problems. And another impetus for filming this instead of waiting for my updates to slowly make their way as I release new videos. As I've mentioned on the channel, I use a website called IndianMotorcycles.net. It's an Indian forum where owners, riders, can talk about their bikes, ask for help if they're having an issue. Anyone interested in Indians should check it out. It's a great resource. Good people, very helpful. I posted there. I posted about CarPlay and my experience there. But about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, I heard from someone on the site, and he also rides an Indian, and he's an engineer with Apple. He wanted to get in touch with me to let me know that he was having the same experience, that he had been in touch with Apple's CarPlay team to make sure they knew what was going on and what other people's experiences were. He forwarded them my video complaining, and he said it was really helpful because I actually showed it happening in the video, and because sometimes it's hard to replicate these things on command when you're filming. But the main impetus for wanting to get an update out is to let you know that one of us happens to work for Apple, and he's at least communicating internally to try and get them to focus on it, and they're aware of these issues, and I think that's a net positive. I mean, I'll completely admit it, I'm kind of an Apple fanboy, so knowing that Apple is well aware of these issues and they're looking into it, I like that. That makes me feel good. It's no guarantee of anything, but who knows, maybe that will lead to better results. And I say this because from my experience, it might be fixed, at least on the software Ride Command front. I'm not seeing the disconnections when I plug my phone in. I have had some issues with the dongle, and let's be honest, Indian, I spoke with Indian about the dongle in particular, and after I did the software update, they really were asking me to stop using the dongle because, they didn't do any quality testing with the dongle. They have nothing to do with it. Apple doesn't certify the dongle as a certified third-party product. And Apple has a history of making changes to iOS that interfere with uncertified third-party products. Someone comes out with some sort of wireless speaker that works with iPhones. Apple will do something in the software, and the next thing you know, those speakers can't connect to the phone anymore. It's a real thing. And the companies that make these dongles, basically say they're not concerned about that happening with their products because the software they've engineered to fool Ride Command or infotainment systems and CarPlay into thinking that you're plugging your phone directly into the unit, they swear that for Apple to do anything to interfere with that, they would have to render all old iPhones useless. And obviously Apple's not going to do that. And they're pretty confident about that, but who knows, you know, they could be wrong. Now, like I said, I'm not a freaking journalist. I'm not a professional. I'm just a dude with an opinion. But I really do feel like I owed you guys an update since I took the hatchet to Indian. And you know, if you're going to give a company a hard time for your experience with a product they make, if they're continuing to make efforts and you see improvement, you got to be honest about that too. So far, plugging the phone directly into the bike, much better experience. My wireless dongle experience is poor. And so what I'm doing now is I'm still using the dongle, and I'll plug it in if I start having problems. If all of a sudden I get a bunch of disconnections, I'll plug the phone in the glove box till next time. Oh, one other thing. Our friend at Apple, he also has a wireless dongle. So he's approaching it from both angles, plugging your phone in and using the wireless dongle. And he's communicated all of that with his colleagues. So hopefully they'll get some clues, figure out what's going on, help Polaris or Indian. I don't know, between the parent and the subsidiary, I don't know who really owns it. These devices are in Polaris side-by-sides. My guess is it's the parent company. But anyways, I wanted to get that out there. Thought it was appropriate. I'm riding down an amazing Nanjamoy. Hopefully the video will look much better. If you enjoyed this little update, I'd certainly appreciate it if you give this video a thumbs up. Put my ride and ride-related content out every Friday. Hit that subscribe button. Click that notification bell. You'll get an alert when my new videos are out. I'd certainly appreciate it. And by the way, you guys should follow me on Instagram because, as I mentioned, the channel is, you know, weeks to months behind real life, but Instagram, when I throw something up there, it's in the present. Oh, sounds so good.